Let's take a look at that snowpack across the Gem State. Joining us on the PNW Ag Network hotline, Aaron Whorton with NRCS Idaho. Aaron, thanks as always for the time. Let's take a look at that snowpack. How are things looking right now across Idaho?
It looks really good. The snowpack's been, it's really well above normal, especially after the last couple of weeks where we've had these big storm cycles come through. So basically, south of the Salmon Basin, so moving into the Payette, Boise, the Wood Lost, the Snake River, and everywhere south of that in Idaho, the snowpack is well above normal. We're seeing numbers 114% in the Payette, 163% in Milwaukee, and down in the southeast, down in the Willow, Blackfoot, Portneuf, 155% normal. Snake River above high seas sitting at 112%, which has been about a 6% improvement from a couple of weeks ago. Northern Idaho is still pretty dry. These storm tracks haven't really reached and benefited the farthest north part of our state near the Canadian border. So that snowpack is still a little bit below normal, but we've seen improvement in the Coeur d'Alene, St. Joe area, the Clearwater, and the Salmon. Those have all got back to normal conditions in the last few weeks. So really happy with where we are in terms of snowpack right now.
Aaron, I know one part of the equation that you and I have talked about is not only the snowpack itself, but the ability to replenish the reservoirs because they've been tapped so much over the last couple of summers. How are you feeling as far as the recharge for the reservoirs across the state?
I think these really large snowpack numbers are a positive sign for reservoir fill. But always it comes down to how quickly the snowpack actually comes off and whether it comes off in such a way that that water's going more directly into the reservoirs rather than filtering down into or being soaked up by dry soil. So it definitely will depend how cold and wet the spring is. But right now, I think the snowpack is giving us some optimism for seeing reservoirs reach better levels than they have in the last few years.
Along those lines, Aaron, we're just about a week and a half, give or take, from April. How is the snowpack melting? How are those temperatures in the higher elevations holding up?
Well, it's been pretty cold, so it looks like the snowpack's holding steady. It's just been building. We're not seeing really melt, and I think that's what's driving some of our southern basins near the Nevada border being such high snowpack percentages. It's just been cold enough that snowpack is not melting. Looking ahead, it's just sort of what the month climate prediction outlook looks like. It looks like NOAA's thinking that Idaho will remain cold through April and kind of normal-ish precipitation. So we could have a delay in the melting if that outlook holds true, but obviously we got to wait and see what the weather actually turns out to be. But right now it's looking cold still.
Aaron, how do you feel as we get ready to get past the typical apex of the snow season and irrigation season is going to be here before you know it? How are you feeling as we start thinking about the warming temperatures and irrigation use across the state?
Well, I think it's a balance. We want the snowpack to come off quickly so that we can fill reservoirs and meet natural flow demands as irrigators began to use the water that's coming out of the snowpack. We want, of course, to have our cake and eat it too. We want enough water that people can fill their natural flow rights, but then we also have enough left over to start filling those reservoirs. So again, it just always comes down to that spring weather. And I think those last 2 years have really illustrated the importance of spring weather. Last year we had a cold, wet spring that helped us out tremendously. The year before, water year 21, we have this hot, dry spring that, hurt folks. So having a good snowpack, I think, just gives us that advantage this year. And if we have a wet spring, I think things will be hopefully looking good for a lot more folks this year.
Aaron Whorton with NRCS Idaho, thanks so much for joining us right here on pnwag.net.